Welcome to the Author's Attic, a production brought to you by Social Problems, the official journal of SSSP, the Society for the Study of Social Problems. My name is Casey Henricks, and today I'll be joined by Dr. Timo Böhm of the University of Mannheim to discuss an article that appears in our November 2015 issue. It's entitled, Activists in Politics.
So my research question in this paper was, how do social movements get access to this specific resource of political influence? My main assumption in this paper is that in many cases there's a political elite that was able to monopolize access to this resource of political influence. So the question about how social movements get political influence is basically a question about how they get access to a political elite. To answer this question, I applied the social network framework. So I came up with three general options that are available for social movements and democracies. First, there's public pressure, then there's lobbying, and there's intersection. I focused on intersection. So intersection means basically that there are members of the elite that are also members of the social movement. The main advantage of these members in between, or these members of both groups, are that they can combine resources of both networks. So they are able to combine, for instance, legitimacy of the social movement and use it inside a political sphere to create political influence and to push forward policy issues. The other main advantage is that these people are trustworthy in the sense that if you're a member of a social movement, you're skeptical when it comes to politicians, because you started to be part of a social movement mainly because you don't trust the political system, at least not completely. On the other hand, there are also disadvantages of intersection. So if you think about social movements, they emerge out of a feeling that the political system is not able or not willing to address specific policy problems. Therefore, if this intersection gets too high, if there are too many connections between a social movement and, for instance, a political party, then a social movement might react with re-establishing the distance between itself and the political system, and therefore the main advantage of intersection disappears. Similar thing is true for individual actors. So if you think about the roles of an activist and a politician, these two are really different. If you're an activist, then you have clear goals. If you're a politician, then you have to think about compromises and you have to think about, for instance, organizing majorities. So it's very difficult to find a way to balance these roles out. So my theoretical expectation of this paper was that if intersection increases over time, at some point there's a tipping point and then the effect diminishes. To test this empirically, I looked for a case where I can find variation in intersection and success, and decided to use the German anti-nuclear movement and the Green Party. Because the German anti-nuclear movement was very successful over this whole period of its existence. And because of the Green Party, there were opportunities for intersection. My research design then focused on the three main variables. So the political elite in this case were the members of parliament on the regional and the national level. Intersection was defined as politicians of the Green Party that were members of parliament and had some anti-nuclear background. And success in this article is operationalized as the time between shutdown of nuclear power stations, or respectively the time until another construction of a nuclear power station was postponed. I then collected data for each of these three main variables. I looked at the period between 1972 and 2002, and then I collected the names of every single member of parliament of the Green Party during this period. So in sum, there were 352 members of parliament. And after I had the names collected, I looked for biographies and historical documents and parliamentary questions to figure out whether they had an anti-nuclear movement background or not. I then applied event history analyses to see whether this effect of intersection has an actual impact on success of the specific social movement. There were two main results The first one was that there was a significant effect of intersection on the success of the German anti-nuclear movement, but this effect really had this inverted U shape. So there was a tipping point of about 40%, and if it got higher, then the effect got smaller, which is in line with the theoretical argument. In conclusion, it's important to emphasize that this mechanism of intersection works only if there is some allied group inside a political elite, or in other words, a group that a social movement can relate to. So in these cases in which it is possible, then it's a very strong and a very robust mechanism how social movements can access to political influence and subsequently be successful in the long run.
You've been watching The Authors at It. Please let us say thanks to Dr. Timo Böhm for sharing this time with us, and also express our appreciation to you, the viewer, for watching this video. Please stay tuned to future installments.